Hi everyone, I'm Doug Oster from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette and welcome to Digging with Doug. And as you can see, we're inside for the first time. One word of warning, be sure you clean off the dining room table before your wife gets home after you've been working like this. We're going to plant two of my favorite things for the winter, indoor plants, paperwhites and amaryllis. These are very easy to grow and fun to grow. It's fun to have something blooming in the middle of the winter. Let's start with the paperwhites. Paperwhites are just little annual daffodils. These are beautiful white, fragrant flowers, and we plant them, they bloom, and then we put them in the compost pile. They can't come back year after year. And so they can grow in just about anything. They can grow in gravel. We've just got a little bit of moist potting mix in here that we're going to use, and that's how shallow it can be for paperwhites, because everything this plant needs is right in this bulb. It's already there. And so all it needs is moisture and it's going to go to town. And so let's start here by planting in this little dish. The planting mix that I use is what I use for seeds or potting mix, anything like that. It's perfect for them. And I like to plant them very close together. Eventually, these will sprout out roots and these will go straight up and make your flowers. And we're going to put them very close together. And in 2 or 3 days, you'll see that you won't be able to pull these out of here anymore. Now the thing about paperwhites is that fragrant smell that they have. It's either love it or hate it, and I love it. And the only way I can explain it is you'll figure it out once they bloom. You'll either love them or hate them. So that's our first little pot of paperwhites. And we could do more if we wanted, a bigger pot like this. But when you're choosing bulbs, you want them to be very firm and not soft. This one, to me, it doesn't look too good. Look at that. It looks like it's been out too long, it's rotted, and you can make, look at that, that one's no good. So we want nice, healthy looking bulbs. And put those together. And that's just about all there is to it, the paperwhites. Anybody can do this. And as I said, they can grow in just about anything. We put them that close together, and that one's ready to go. Now, the other plant are amaryllis bulbs, and look at this thing. Isn't that beautiful? That's actually a fake one, but it looks good. But that's what it'll look like when it blooms. And now with this bulb, the same sort of thing. We're looking for something that's nice and solid. The bigger this is, the more blooms you're going to get out of this. And there's different colors. There's kind of pinks and reds and little oranges and white. So look for the one that you really love. And we're just going to take a pot that is just a little bit bigger than the bulb. And we're just going to place it down in here, make a little spot, and put it down in here and put that right in the middle. And you'll notice that the bulb is basically out of the soil. The only thing that's in the soil are the roots. And that's the way we want it. We don't want to overwater this. We don't want to rot this bulb. But if we just have some moist mix in the bottom, that's all it's going to need. And again, in this one, we're talking about 6 weeks until we have some blooms. This is actually a wonderful gift for gardeners because they're just going to love to grow something inside. Now, number one question when we're talking about amaryllis are what do you do after they bloom? How do I get them to rebloom? And again, it's very, very simple to do. After the plant blooms, we'll remove this stalk here, and all that'll be left are these leaves, just like this. And they'll get really big and just be huge. And we'll just grow it as a house plant all winter. And then when we get to May, when it's frost-free outside, we'll take it outside. I like to take them outside anyway. And put them in a shady location, keep them watered, fertilize them like crazy, just like you would any other plant outside growing in a pot. But then when we get to August, we stop all fertilization, we stop all watering, and that's when we end up with this. You know, it goes dormant. It looks like it's dead. But when it goes dormant, it needs about 6 weeks of dormancy. Then it's ready to be replanted, and we start the same thing again. We take our pot, and we take one that's just a little bit bigger than the pot that it was in, one size bigger. And you'll see when we take this out, the roots have grown so well. Look at that. Everything comes out with it. It's completely dry, and you see all those roots there. And then we just tuck it into this mix right here. And we'll put a little bit more. And you can see it's actually started to make a second bulb here. And that's what will happen over the years. Over on the windowsill, I probably have, I don't know, 10 or 15 of these from over the years. It's always fun to get a new one because you know it's going to bloom like crazy. When you do this, when you take them year to year, every once in a while you get 1 or 2 that won't bloom or won't bloom as well as they did last year. But that's all there is to it. We're ready to go for the next year on this one. It will start sending up some green stalks and then the blooms. And we'll have pretty flowers in the middle of winter, which is a great thing for anybody. Now, remember, if you had any questions about what we did here today, all you have to do is log on to www.post-gazette.com/homes and click on the gardening forum button. That's another great thing to do during the winter, is talk about gardening, talk about your planning. You can also at that website see all the past videos we've done. I think we're close to 40 videos we've done over this season. And if you look at the Post-Gazette's members-only site called PG+, you can read a blog there about what I'm doing in the garden and also see some other videos. But I have to leave you with this wonderful, wonderful thing outside. I love to float pansies in the bird bath. One got waterlogged, fell below, it froze, and it's spectacular. It looks like somebody could paint it. Until then, I've got about 10 amaryllis out there that have to be repotted, and I can't wait to see these bloom. So we'll see you next week.